Hey, good morning, David. Good morning, fellow YouTubers. Those of you who watch and don't make content, go fuck yourselves. I don't really mean that, but all right, this is what I need. I need to we recycle these. These are just bags from supermarkets. They're still legal here in the state of Florida. I'm not sure if in California they're illegal at the moment. So you have to do reusable bags. The reason why I'm grabbing this is because taking out the garbage, and as you can see, it's kind of overflowing a little bit. So I'm just gonna take these plastic cases, which were strawberries, which mom bought for our princess. But she bought 2 packs, and our princess has been staying with her maternal grandmother for the past week. So yeah, she wasn't with me on what they call Father's Day, which is, I don't know what it is. It's like a day where you, I guess they want to boost the service economy and like the economy of just in general. All holidays are really meant for that. I mean, on top of the fact that yes, you do celebrate, spend time with people you love, but isn't every day a day where you should be spending time with people you love? I mean, and every day that you do spend time with people you love, isn't that a day that's holy in itself or a blessing? I don't know. I mean, I guess to each his own. Everybody has the right to, freedom of thought, except for all the propaganda that is pushed on us, which we don't even realize it most of the time. Like, for instance, it took me, 23 years to realize that the attacks on the World Trade Center was actually an act of propaganda. It was coordinated, I believe, by the Bush Bin Laden families. Because obviously they go way back. The Bin Laden families, they're like the equivalent to like here in the States, I don't know, like you don't have individual wealthy people anymore, but well, let's just say like Bezos, right? Oh my leg. Like Bezos. He's worth whatever, $200 billion or some shit. So the Bin Ladens, the main father, he's been working with the Bush family, for the longest time, because what their corporation does is they're involved. Oh goodness, this is garbage from the princess, her mom. She put it out here, but she couldn't even tie it closed. It's wonderful. But anyway, so yeah. Those families have known each other for the longest time, and Bin Laden Senior. How many sons do you think this guy has? They just had to pick one to play, the scapegoat, and I'm gonna tell you guys why it was all war propaganda. Because the Bush family, they wanted to take down a leader from out there in the Middle East, from a country that had absolutely nothing to do with the so-called terrorist attacks. Again, terrorist is a propaganda term, people. If you don't believe me, it'll come around one day. So, yeah, this is just taking out the garbage. I gotta mow the lawn. That's gonna be the next thing, which is why I changed my clothes already. All I really have to do is just change my pants, and I put on some long socks and like old shoes. But by old, I mean like, look, they don't have like the sole, SOLE. It makes me feel dirt poor. So, like I was saying, to get the American people behind a war that was not necessary, and the reason why I say it was not necessary is because we all know, as an American, we all know that the CIA they know a lot of shite, and they know shite they're not supposed to know. At least they're not supposed to know if they want to use that information in a court of law, okay? Because in order to use evidence in a court of law, you must maintain all your discovery through legal in a legal fashion, which is what the Federal Bureau of Investigation does. Now, when the Federal Bureau of Investigation asked the Central Intelligence Agency, hey, do you guys know anything about these guys? The Central Intelligence Agency, they had to say, no, we don't know anything about them. When in fact they did know everything that was going on. But they can't share that information again because the way they obtain it is not something that would uphold in front of a judge and in front of like whatever, a fair trial. And it's illegal the way they obtain the information. But it needs to be done because allegedly it's to protect our country. So they allowed, 9/11 was orchestrated. Again, it was a war propaganda. And how do I know this? Because, like I said, they wanted the Bush family. They had been, for some reason, I guess Bush Sr. and I think Cheney was his advisor too while Bush Sr. was in office. He had a beef with, they had beef with Hussein, who was a dictator, but nonetheless, he ruled his country, and the country was ran, like with an iron fist, but it was ran like with discipline, and or at least there was order, okay? Because as soon as we went over there, and we just went there just to get him. We already knew there was no such thing as weapons of mass destruction over there, because as a matter of fact, I believe it was in 1998, a UN weapons inspectors went to the country, and he saw for himself. You cannot build like atomic bombs and shit like that and not leave like radiation and like ways that it could be detected that you're refining like uranium, or you're refining some other type of atomic element that is that produces radioactivity or whatever, the weak force when it comes to physics. You cannot do that without leaving without leaving like a signature. And they went, I believe it was, if not the UN, it was the same US. They went to Iraq, I believe around 98. At least this is what I've read. And they did an inspection, and they saw that Iraq had no weapons of mass destruction, neither atomic weapons, neither chemical weapons, nothing. They had nada. And so we already knew that they didn't. But look how clever, I'll give Bush Jr. this much credit, or at least the people that he had on his team. Look how clever they were. They sold that war with, charisma. They used that guy, Colin Powell. They used an African American. They used a Negro to sell to the American people our military industry, which ultimately creates a lot of jobs, makes a lot of people rich. That guy Cheney, who was vice VP at the time, he himself profited heaven knows how much. And I've mentioned in this channel before, what do powerful people want? They just want more power. It's just human nature. There's nothing wrong with it. The only one that I could see maybe challenging that notion might be Musk. And the only reason why I say that is because Musk is the only one that kind of gives off the vibe that he truly believes more in like technology advancing us, or the human race advancing itself. And so that's why he does dumb things like spend $44 billion on a company to then later rename it X. But yet, I'm still waiting for the next features to come because X does have the potential to be like WeChat or whatever whatever that thing is over in China, where you can use it to message, make payments. You could it's like a one-stop app, which I believe that's what Musk would want to do. Start your Tesla, do your home. That's why in China everybody uses smartphones, and also in India, very big thing. Except iPhones are not popular in probably in another country, but they're not popular in India for sure. I use an iPhone because besides the Nokia with the flashlight, the iPhone has always been my favorite phone. All right, so we have an electric lawnmower. Let me put a couple things back in place. These scissors, I'll just put these here for now, but they really go in a computer bag that's somewhere down there, right there. That's a laptop bag. All right, I'm at half zoom, so now you can probably see me more. I was vacuuming before. This is the vacuum that I use now, which I might as well, before, there's the battery, which is fully charged. I just want to make sure it was fully charged because the last one, I had charged it, but I didn't like recharge it like right before I put it into the, how do you call that? I didn't recharge it right before I put it into the lawnmower. And the damn thing went out on me. The battery wasn't even like a year old. And the company's called Greenworks, in case anybody wants to know out there. Greenworks. Be careful with them batteries. Just make sure it's fully charged before you put it in your device. This battery was fully charged, but I let it sit for like, let's say a week or two, and thinking that it was still fully charged, I then inserted it into the lawnmower. I proceeded to start with the lawnmower, but then I got like a red light on the battery, meaning that the battery was pretty much useless. All right, so this new vacuum, I like to empty it out here outside, because that way all the dust, like el polvo, the dust goes out into the air, as opposed to like if I emptied it out inside in the kitchen, I would get dust all over the floor, and then that would just mean more cleaning. This little part comes off if I pull on it, but there's no dirt right above. Oh, there's hairs. Let's get those hairs out if we can. Right there we go. We pull on this. So 9/11 was just war propaganda, everybody. And unfortunately, a lot of our citizens had to die because of it. Bless their souls, so that our country could start a war with and just annihilate. I don't even know why they wanted Saddam Hussein. Was it because they wanted the oil? I know Chappelle made that joke on his show, on his legendary show that only aired for 2 seasons, and then like he said, either on the Closer or on the special he did last year, 2023, that he actually walked the walk. He got off the bus and he left $50 million in the bus, which I don't blame him. I thought the reason why he didn't keep doing the show was because Comedy Central would not hold up their end of the contract, which was, in the very beginning, it was supposed to be that they pay him a certain percentage of what the show does from the ad revenue, because obviously that's what keeps everything running. It's just ads, because capitalism, baby. What we consume pays for the products we purchase, pay for the things that we get to see or whatever. And if we get something for free, the product is you. If you're like for instance, I use YouTube and I don't have YouTube Premium, so the product is not YouTube. The product is me. They're using all the data that I provide to them. Maybe all the words that I say get passed through an artificial intelligent like a program to, at first maybe to listen for keywords, and then if maybe certain keywords are pop up enough, then it might go through an actual human being, whatever, and then they also probably use my viewing habits to try to see like, okay, what are his interests, desires, wants, this and that, so that they can then do what's called a target. Like, I don't even know what it's called. I'm gonna make up a name. I'm gonna call it like target marketing. So, like all the advertisements and all of the commercials are uniquely designed so that they can try their best to try to sell me on shite that I would probably purchase. And that's not a novel concept either, because in the beginning, when they were creating, like in the 90s, when when they were starting to come up with like new websites and shit like that, their goal in the long run, they wanted to make an internet, or they wanted to make an interface, I should say, where the PC or your device will instinctually know exactly what you want before you want it. Kind of like Google autofill, except this would kind of be like, or it will get to learn your habits, it will get to learn, your behavior, and then, like, let's say every day around a certain time, you decide you want to eat, your device or whatever it is that you use might all of a suddenly automatically, like, bing bing bing, give you a notification. Oh, would you like to place your usual order at yada 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 yada, and just stuff like that. Like, you open up the OS or whatever it is that program you're using, and it should essentially kind of like already figure out or know what it is that you want, and that's why they collect all that data. And then, I gotta replace the bag. Big important thing. 1x went up to 3. All right. 0.6 zoom. Okay, so why am I saying all this? I'm just saying all this because this was around the genesis of early web browsing. So we're talking about like Netscape. The time of Netscape, they provided a free browser, which was a novel concept at the time, because at that time, I don't know if America Online was already something that was put into use. If it was, America Online provided both the browser, which you could use to browse the internet, and they provided the service, which at the time it wasn't like a cable connection. It was just dial-up. So all the 90s kids, like if you're like born in the 80s or whatever, like myself, that sound that it rains and then it goes yeah. So but Netscape, if I remember correctly, they offered the free browser, and then that's when Gates says, "Shit, I gotta catch up with them," and then he made it so that automatically all computers sold with his OS, which I believe both him and Jobs got the idea of a user-friendly interface. So in other words, like because before we had like all these things with like emojis and like things that you can click on, and like a mouse and a screen. Everything had to be done by keyboard. Okay, the original operating system, which was the original that I know of is DOS, but there was another one before that. I'm sure there was a whole bunch of them. Heaven knows, you could program a computer had so many ways. I mean, it's binary, so I have no idea how all that shit works. So I think they got the idea. They stole it. Everything is always stolen, or like a luxury says, is I forget what it's called. There's a word for it. Anyways, from Xerox. I believe it was Xerox. Xerox was the first company that made like a user-friendly interface that you can maybe either like touch, or you can like, you know, you could choose an option, but you could see pictures of what you're doing, as opposed to like DOS, which it was eventually bought out by Microsoft, but then became MS, or maybe it was always Microsoft DOS or MS DOS, where you had to actually type in commands and you had to get it right, perfect, down to like the dot or the asterisk, or like the last three numbers, like .exe, to run a program, execute. If not, you'd be like, it's not like how the computers are right now, which is what I'm using to record this video. I'm using an iPhone 13 mini, so which is essentially a little mini computer that I put in my pocket. And we can go all day talk about the like the anatomy of this actual device, and how pretty much humans haven't evolved, but technology, you could say, is our form of the way that we have evolved. I want to give a shout out. I'm not endorsed in any way by these companies, by the way. I'm not endorsed by anybody. I don't want any endorsements, because as soon as somebody endorses you, it's you know, I already am a product of my environment as it is. I gotta do, like, right now I'm about to go oh yeah, get the battery. Let's grab the battery, so I can keep talking shite, yapping, but at least do something. So I think it's called Ground News. A lot other YouTubers have endorsed it, and if you're into news or the 411, it appears to be an application that might be actually worth a go, as opposed to BetterHelp, where BetterHelp, they're not bound by, for some reason, they're not bound by the federal law of HIPAA, you know, of privacy. Or at least that's what I've seen online. I've seen that they're able to expose certain information. Obviously not like your name and shit, but like your gender, how often, like maybe your symptoms, how often you use the therapy. So yeah, so this is the vacuum that we use. Like I said, what did I say that the brand was? Shite, how could I forget? Greenworks. Yeah, this is a Greenworks. I have it up to 4. Maybe I'll do 5 so it doesn't cut too much. I don't know, can you see that? Whatever. So the battery just goes right inside here, upside down, slide it in. Make sure it goes all the way in there. And then how you turn it on is just, you push this button, push that button, and then raise this bar. And that's it. And I gotta put the bag in the back. I'm gonna cut this because we're at 24 right now. Kobe, and number 8, lucky number, my baby Kim. I gave you 8 plus 2 because you a 10. I love you. I love you, Mom. I love you, Dad. Alex, Laura. What the fuck's up with you guys? Ciao.